That was the perfect introduction. Absolutely. I am so happy to just glide and slide on in here with all of you. May I call you my daughters, because that is how I feel about any woman slightly younger than myself for whom I have served. You are all my daughters. You are all here to continue on, to continue what I would call a legacy, but it is not my legacy. Make no mistake, it is yours, for you are the ones carrying it now. You are the ones unfolding it now. You are the ones responsible. And so did you know that I actually had to be dragged to the other side? I was. I was kicking and screaming, if you can imagine. Now, maybe not literally, but in every fiber of my being, with every cell that I still had control over, I was kicking and screaming. They had to remove me from the physical plane forcibly. And mind you, it was still a beautiful experience, but I truly want you to understand how enormously dedicated I am, was, and will forever. This is my purpose. This is my purpose in an ongoing way forevermore. So should I desire to or decide to incarnate yet again, it would be for the same reason, for the same purpose, to serve in this exact same way. And so until then, my darlings, until then, my daughters, it is on you. And this is not to add more to your already full plates, for I know that everybody feels busy, but I will tell you that your busyness pales in comparison to where things will be headed if you do not take stock and you do not take stand. Take stock and take stand. Take stock and take stand. And keep asking yourself when wherever your attention is drawn, is that the best use? Is that going to serve? Is that the world that you are actually seeing that you want to be in? Are those actually the people that you want to be spending the time with, the conversations with? For I will tell you something. I did not waste words with those who I knew not to be worthy. And this does not come from ego. This comes from the knowing that there is a finite amount of time, just in case you felt as though there was an expansive amount of time. It is finite. And so that is why it is so important to me to use all the minutes up in the best way possible. Again, I am not asking you to rise to what I have done or how I have done it. I am asking you to carry it on, and I am asking you to carry it forward. And I am asking you to decide what kind of world you want to see, and then hold strong to that. Hold steady to that. Move into that. You can feel the urgency, the insistence that I am bringing forward, and that is because it is the time now. It has been the time. It is the time. It will forever be the time. There is no rest. There is no rest. And yes, I know you will find your rest. You will find your points of replenishment. That is good. That is important. That is worthy. I did not operate upon that principle. And I am not asking you to follow suit in the ways that I operated. I was given an ungodly amount of energy to accomplish the things that required accomplishing, because they didn't just take a year or so, as you know. They take lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. And while others might say that I accomplished so much in a singular lifetime, I would say, but wait, I had more. But wait, I was holding strong. But wait, I was going through everything that I needed to do in order to keep everything intact, perfectly healthy as I possibly could, so that I could stay the course, so that I could continue to serve, so that I could hold steady until what? Until what? And that is what we are wondering about, isn't it? And that is why you all are in fear, isn't it? Until what? Because you see the what, and I have known the what for quite some time. And the what is not a good thing. The what is not a pretty thing. The what is a very misguided thing. The what is the continuation of despair. The what is the relinquishing of power. You mustn't, my daughters, you mustn't. And when I speak to you, I am speaking to the men as well. I am speaking to all within the human race. I am speaking to those who do not identify as one or the other, or those who identify as both. I am speaking to all, because we cannot leave this only to the women, although it will be the force of the women, the fierceness of the women, the love of the women that continues the work and sets the record straight eventually. But I also want you to invite the brothers. I also insist, please, that you invite the brothers, for without the energy of the masculine, without the buy-in of those who have both sides of their brain in full function, including their heart in full function, turned on and activated, you will find that it is another othering. And who needs that? Nobody at all. And so what I have for you is a brief list. Yes, a list. And then with it comes more steps, but you will decide the steps as you are so inclined. But here's the list. Number 1. Carve out your time to serve the greater good. You know what this means. And if you don't, then you will find what it means. And then you will dedicate over and over and over. That is how revolutions are made. Number 2, cling to those who have been in service for vast periods of time and understand, and always will understand, things to a greater extent than you could or than you should. Your job here is not to understand everything. Your job here is to fight for what is right, for what is righteous, for what is fair, for justice and equality, for equanimity, for all of that. That is your job. Do not spend so much time in the studying and the understanding, unless, of course, you are like my dear daughter, who has decided to take on the law and go, I say to her. But for those of you who are not taking on the law, for those of you who are choosing not to study that, then do not waste time studying all the other bits and pieces. They are traps and rabbit holes that eat up your precious time. Instead, find where you are needed and show up. Number 3. Let your tender hearts be broken. Do so. You must, because it is in the repair of the broken hearts that you find your strength. Number 5. Find a sister somewhere who is in need, desperate need of your love and your kindness and of your support. And find one, if you can, for whom you are a stranger, so that you can no longer be a stranger to her and she be an isolated stranger to you. Find one and grab her and hold her near and hold her dear and find out what she needs. And then you support her walking through the rest of this lifetime in the biggest way you know how. Number 6. I will tell you that even though it may seem to be a colossal waste of time to write the letters, make the phone calls, send the messages over and over and over again, and even though you would rather poke your eyeballs out with a fork, I insist that you do so. I ask, I implore, I plead with you to do so, because these messages are landing. They are being received. They have been largely ignored because the masses have not insisted that they be received. But with the masses insisting, you will see that I am right here, that they will be received, that they will make an impact. At first, it will seem as though it is just a snowball hitting a solid wall. It just crushes and crashes and splits apart into a million little pieces of ice. But then you will see that with the proper aim and with repetition, the snowballs can actually become dangerous. Hit in the right place over and over again with precision from many others, you will see that they make dents, and then you will see that they make holes, and then you will see that they can fill an entire space in a very different way than you ever thought possible, but you will not see it so well in the process, and so you will be inclined to doubt it. Do not doubt it. Trust me here in what I am saying, that the repeated targets, the repeated messages, the repeated calls, the repeated letters, the repeated marching, the repeated insisting, the repeated rejection of all that is not right and not fair and not just must be continued. That is a sufficient list for now. I have left you with your task. You have your marching orders. Now go. Okay. There she is.
And here we are, feeling it like we've never felt it before, sharing in what was her work, but it's all of our work. I mean, part of my despair with her physical exit is that I feel like, oh my gosh, how can we ever, like, she just held it. She held it strong and she held it steady and she didn't stray. And I just hope I can do that too in my part. We're not her part, but we have our part. What do you guys, where does that land with you?